This CMS safety video will explain fall protection systems, fall protection requirements, controlled access zones, and fall protection planning. Ensuring employees understand the importance of fall protection and can adequately educate their coworkers. A leading edge is an edge portion of the walking, working surface that is currently under construction. Employees on a walking, working surface with an unprotected side, leading edges, or holes, including skylights, that are 6 feet or above a lower level must be protected from falling using guardrail systems, safety net systems, or personal fall arrest systems. Before the incident, the victim and a coworker rewired the electrical cable. During the rewind, a coworker manually turned the spool while the victim was holding onto the end of the cable and walking backward. Suddenly, the spool flew out of the coworker's hands, falling through the floor opening. Both coworkers did not see the victim step backward into the unguarded opening. The spool fell on top of the victim, who fell 45 feet. To prevent similar occurrences, employers should ensure that employees on walking, working surfaces are protected from falling through holes more than 6 feet above lower levels by personal fall arrest systems, covers, or guardrail systems, and remove employees from areas where an imminent danger has been identified, and corrective action has not been completed. Each employee should be protected from falling at the edge of an excavation when the excavations are not readily seen because of plant growth or other barriers. In these cases, signs or barricades may be used to increase visibility to reduce the risk to employees or equipment falling into the excavation. An employee working on wall openings at, above, or near wall openings where the outside bottom edge of the wall opening is 6 feet or more above lower levels, and the inside bottom edge of the wall opening is less than 1 meter above the walking, working surface must be protected from falling by the use of a guardrail system, a safety net system, or a personal fall arrest system. Employees engaged in roofing activities with unprotected sides or edges shall be protected from falling by using an appropriate fall protection system. When other scenarios force the worker to work at heights 6 feet or above the lower level, a fall protection system must be used if working on top of a tank or compressor or from a scissor lift or man basket. One of the following protective measures must be used to protect people below the work from objects falling on them. Toe boards prevent items from falling over the edges of working surfaces. A canopy protects persons below from objects that might fall during the work, and barricades around the area below the work in which objects might fall. A fall protection system is designed to protect personnel from the risk of falls when working at heights of 6 feet or greater. The system can include guardrail systems, safety net systems, personal fall arrest systems, positioning device systems, and controlled access zones. Guardrail systems must have top rails, mid-rails, screens, or mesh. Guardrail systems must be at least 42 inches tall and be able to support a weight of 200 pounds. Guardrail systems used on ramps and runways shall be erected along each unprotected side or edge. Safety nets shall be installed as close as practicable under the walking, working surface on which employees are working, but in no case more than 30 feet, 9.1 meters below the working level. Safety net systems should be capable of passing the drop test, in which a 400 lb. Bag of sand is dropped into the net to test the strength of the system. Safety nets should extend outward from the outermost projection of the work surface. With a vertical distance from the working surface to the net of a minimum required horizontal projection. Up to 5 feet vertical, 8 feet horizontal. More than 5 feet vertical up to 10 feet and 10 feet horizontal. More than 10 feet vertical and 13 feet horizontal. Personal fall arrest systems usually consist of a body harness and lanyard, which are attached to an approved anchor point. Body harnesses are designed to minimize stress forces on an employee's body in the event of a fall while providing sufficient freedom of movement to allow work to be performed. A lanyard is a flexible line of webbing, or a synthetic or wire rope, used to secure a body harness to a lifeline or anchor. Keep lanyards as short as possible to reduce the distance you could fall. Try to arrange the lanyard to limit free fall to no more than 6 feet, in a fall arrest situation. When using a lanyard for fall arrest, a personal shock absorber should be included in your personal fall protection system to keep the arrest force at a safe level. A shock absorber slows and cushions a fall, reducing the force of a fall and specific stitch patterns in the webbing. Absorb the force of impact and progressively tear apart. Warning: the shock absorber may increase the length of the lanyard by as much as 3.5 feet during a fall. Be sure to refer to the label on the shock absorbing unit to determine the maximum elongation and allow extra fall distance when you include a shock absorber in your personal fall protection system. The D-ring is the metal device that is an attachment point. The attachment of the body harness must be in the center of the wearer's back, near the shoulder level, or above the head. D-rings must have a minimum tensile strength of 5,000 pounds and be proof-tested to a minimum tensile load of 3,600 lbs without cracking, breaking, or becoming permanently deformed. An essential part of the connecting device is the locking snap hook. Locking snap hooks are required by federal law to prevent roll-out. The rollout has resulted in fatalities when the snap hook has become disengaged from the anchor point. Snap hooks should not be attached directly to the following unless the manufacturer has designed it for such use: webbing, rope, wire rope, or to each other. Including a D-ring in which another snap hook is already attached or a horizontal lifeline. The railing of scaffolds or an object that doesn't allow the hook to lock. Body harnesses are designed to minimize stress forces on an employee's body in the event of a fall while providing sufficient freedom of movement to allow work to be performed. To maintain the body harness's service life and high performance, you should inspect harnesses frequently. Visual inspection before each use is required. Regular inspection by a competent person for wear, damage, or corrosion should be a part of your safety program. Inspect your equipment daily and replace it if any defective conditions exist. If it is damaged, tag it, do not use. For inspection, grasp the webbing with your hands 6 to 8 inches apart. Bend the webbing in an inverted U, as shown. The resulting surface tension makes damaged fibers or cuts easier to see. Follow this procedure the entire length of the webbing, inspecting both sides of each strap. Watch for frayed edges, broken fibers, pulled stitches, cuts, burns, and chemical damage. It is crucial to check D-rings for distortion, cracks, breaks, and rough or sharp edges. The D-ring should pivot freely. D-ring back pads should also be inspected for damage. Fall protection systems entail the inspection of attachment points. Attachments of buckles and D-rings should be given special attention. Note any unusual wear, frayed or cut fibers, or distortion of the buckles or D-rings. The tongue receives heavy wear from repeated buckling and unbuckling. Inspect for loose, distorted, or broken grommets. Webbing should not have additional punched holes. Buckle tongues should be free of distortion in shape and motion. They should overlap the buckle frame and move freely back and forth in their socket. Check for distortion or sharp edges. The roller should turn freely on the frame. Verify that the friction and mating buckle is not distorted. There must be a straight line between the outer and center bars, including the corners and attachment points. Verify that the friction and mating buckle is not distorted. There must be a straight line between the outer. In excessive heat, webbing and rope become brittle, shriveled, and appear brownish. The fibers will break when flexed and must not be used above 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Chemicals usually appear as a brownish smear or smudge, creating transverse cracks and loss of elasticity when bent over a mandrel. Molten metal or flame causes webbing strands to fuse, creating shiny spots that become hard and brittle. Paint and solvents that penetrate webbing or rope and dries can restrict the fiber's movement. Drying agents and solvents in some paints cause chemical damage. Personal fall arrest systems are designed to stop a fall. Limit maximum arresting force to 1,800 pounds, ensuring the employee can neither free fall more than 6 feet nor contact any lower level. Bring an employee to a complete stop and limit the maximum deceleration distance to 3.5 feet. Having sufficient strength to withstand twice the potential impact energy of a worker free falling a distance of 6 feet, or the free fall distance permitted by the system, whichever is less. Remove fall arrest systems and components from service immediately if they have been subjected to fall impact until inspected by a competent person and deemed undamaged and suitable for use. Promptly rescue employees in a fall or assure that they can rescue themselves. Inspect systems before each use for wear, damage, and other deterioration, and remove defective components from service. Do not attach fall arrest systems to guardrail systems, man lifts, or scissor lift rails. Positioning device systems consist of a body belt or harness rigged to allow work on a vertical surface, such as a wall, with both hands free. Remove fall arrest systems and components from service immediately if they have been subjected to fall impact until inspected by a competent person and deemed undamaged and suitable for use. Promptly rescue employees in a fall or assure that they can rescue themselves. Inspect systems before each use for wear, damage, and other deterioration, and remove defective components from service. Do not attach fall arrest systems to guardrail systems, man lifts, or scissor lift rails. A controlled access zone is a work area designated and clearly marked in which certain types of work may take place without the use of conventional fall protection systems, guardrails, personal arrest, or safety net to protect the employees working in the zone. Controlled access zones are used to keep out workers other than those authorized to enter work areas from which guardrails have been removed. Controlled access zones must be defined by a control line or by any other means that restrict access. Control lines shall consist of ropes, wires, tapes or equivalent materials, and supporting stanchions, and each must be flagged or otherwise clearly marked at not more than 6 foot (1.8 meters) intervals with high visibility material. Requirements of control lines shall extend along the entire length of the unprotected or leading edge and shall be approximately parallel to the unprotected or leading edge. Control lines also must be connected on each side to a guardrail system or wall. When control lines are used, they shall be erected no less than 6 feet or more than 25 feet from the unprotected or leading edge. Fall protection planning determines if fall protection is required by listing potential hazards and developing a rescue plan. The plan should include the name and responsibilities of the rescue persons, emergency phone numbers, and necessary equipment, such as ropes and harnesses. Fall protection coordinators have authority over the work as it relates to the prevention of falls. Be present at all times. Ensure adequate tie-off areas. Anticipate changes caused by work activities and being able to have routine voice communications. Tailgate safety meetings give instructions on fall protection, outline procedures to be followed, and lists potential hazards. Job safety analysis. Fall protection planning must take into consideration the fall hazards expected in each work area and the methods used to protect workers from fall injuries. The procedures for rescuing fallen workers from elevated areas and the correct procedures to assemble, maintain, inspect, use, and disassemble the fall protection system. Use a buddy system and continually check each other's harness and D-ring to ensure that the harness is not too loose or the D-ring slipped down the back. Use a buddy system and continually check each other's harness and D-ring to ensure that the harness is not too loose or the D-ring